Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Vidyam Karavavakai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat. So, first we will start our discussion, and we'll start our discourse, and then we will proceed for discussion. All right. I changed my audio input. Am I audible well?
Yes.
Yes.
Am I audible well?
Yes, sir.
Good. Okay. One of the main abilities as a human being, what we call as choice, traditionally we understand as the ability to pursue a conscious goal or purushartha, the ability to pursue a purushartha. Purushartha is something that is of value, something that is of value which we appreciate consciously and we are pursuing. So what you are pursuing unconsciously is not counted here. Purushartha is a conscious pursuit. Conscious pursuit of something that I value, something that is of value to me, right, to the individual. So only the human birth is considered as capable of pursuing a purushartha, and that is why dharma becomes important for the human being, and all the spirituality, sadhanas, the Veda, and all the spiritual knowledge, the do's and don'ts, the dharma shastras, and all the spiritual sadhanas, the abhyasas, everything, the yoga, everything becomes important and relevant for a human being because the human being can pursue a purushartha. That is why it is considered as human birth is very rare, very important, very valuable. It's priceless. Nan jantunam nana janma durlabam. Then atak pumsum tado viprada. In that shloka he says, among all the birds, the human birth is very rare and very valuable, very precious. And in that, to be having to have technically a body of a male, but we can translate it as to be able to have a kind of the vigor and the inner strength to pursue the goals. Then to be able to come in touch with real authentic spiritual knowledge. Viprata is the knowledge of Vedadhyaye Vidhi Vipraha. So we can broadly define it as, we can extend the definition as knowledge of spiritual tech, spiritual knowledge, both spiritual tech and spiritual wisdom, the truth, the wisdom of existence. Then to be able to be on that path, to be able to own up and then to practice and actualize that in our everyday life, and to arrive at wisdom. Right? So like that it goes. So fundamental point is ability to pursue a purushartha. That is where the realm of choice comes. So we have a goal. We want to pursue, we want to do something. But when we want to do something, many a time our system wants to do something else. The body wants to do something else. I want to get up at 6 o'clock and get ready and go to my college or work or whatever in the right time after doing some exercise, workout, etc., and then eat a relaxed breakfast and then go. But because it is winter, my system wants to wake up only at 6:30. But I have to wake up at 6 o'clock. My will is to wake up at 6, but my system wants to wake up only at 6:30 or 7, or preferably not wake up until 8 o'clock and not go to go to the pursuit college or work or wherever. Doesn't want to go. It just wants to lounge. This is one simple thing everybody encounters, most of them. I want to do a chanting japa. except the mantra that I am supposed to remember and repeat. My mind remembers everything else under the sky. This is another thing we all encounter. So I want to pursue a goal, but my system does not cooperate. So the ability to exercise my conscious choice, though I am able to make a choice, I am not able to actualize that choice. This is one level. Still a little lower level. I am not even able to make a choice. I am forced, there is an illusion of choice, and I am forced to choose only one thing. And I can be manipulated to choose A over B. That is what the entire artificial intelligence based advertising is aimed at, to make you choose what they want. It's called limbic engagement. They make your limbic system or your animal brain inside us, that which is stimulated by pleasure, to they create a suggestion in our pleasure driven mind and make us feel like I want to do something. I want to do this. Oh, I want that. I should do this. Then we feel like as though we are feeling it in a deeper level and we think it is something more meaningful, and then we do it. This happens. Sometimes in the dream, we encounter a situation, and that situation leaves an impression in our subconscious mind, because the way in which we interacted with the situation in the dream based on our samskaras, means the subtle tendencies, make us respond to a situation in a dream in a certain way, and that situation leaves an impact depending upon which cycle of sleep you get the dream, in the early part of the night, middle part of the night, later part of the night, early morning, depending on when your dream comes and how much time before waking state and how intense is the dream experience, it leaves an impression. So upon waking up, that impression of the dream can affect, has a huge potential to affect the way in which we respond to things in the day, the way in which we make certain choices. There was a movie, a very interesting movie called Inception, where they go in the dream of a person and plant a thought. So there is also a similar practice in Tantra Shastra. There is a sadhana of Swapna Varahi. In Swapna Varahi, they will do that mantra, and then they will make that, with the help of that deity, they will implant or suggestion or something in the dream of a person. They will go into the dream of a person and tell them what to do. And then that person will do that in the waking state. So these are all there. And so when I saw that Inception movie, I was thinking about this Swapna Varahi sadhana. Interesting, right? So they were using technology in the movie. So in the dream, what happens? An impression is created in the subconscious level, and that in the waking state makes a certain choice appear more meaningful than something else. So there is a level where our ability to choose itself is hijacked. So we are not even having a choice over the ability to exercise our faculty of choice. We are not having a choice in exercising the faculty of choice. The faculty of choice is made to work in a particular way. So that is where it hijacks the buddhi, right? So now this all sounds very far-fetched, but in everyday life we experience this. When we are completely overcome by anger, when we are completely overcome by passion, blinded by passion, when we are completely overcome by some hurt, any strong emotion, our faculty of choice gets hijacked. There is a fantastic shloka in Bhagavad Gita, very famous. Dhyayate Vishyan Pumsaha Sangastesho Vajayate. One shloka is that, where Sangat Sanjayate Kamaha Kamat Krodho Vijayate, like that it goes. A very famous shloka. Dhyayate Dhyayato Vishayam Pumsaha. If you Google that, you will get the shloka with meaning and everything in Bhagavad Gita super site with Shankara Bhashyam, Ramanuja Bhashyam, etc. Right? So I'm not going into the shloka, I will deal with the meaning. So when you keep on thinking about something, there is an association with that, in a way in which we are thinking about it. So reinforcement. they did one study, like, it takes around 400 repetitions of a certain movement or a certain activity or a certain yeah, a certain activity in order for it to form a hardwired brain circuit associated with that. If the same thing is done in a playful context, it takes only 5 to 10 times or maybe 20 times. They made some research. So in a playful context, our ego is more relaxed, we are subconsciously more open, and there is less conflict. So in a less conflicted state, when we do something, it's the impression it leaves in our mind, in our chitta, is very strong. That is what it's called as hardwired. A strong samskara is being created, right? So now, so when we are abhyasa, repetition, because of that, a way in which we get associated with an object gets reinforced in our system, in our mind. Then, based on the way in which we have internalized that object, there is a relationship with that object, right? Based on the way in which I am relating with that object, the object has a value for us, a positive value or a negative value, karma or, I want it or I don't want it, raga, dvesha, one of that, right? When I am associating through desire for an object, and that desire cannot be actualized all the time. So when the desire is thwarted, it becomes anger. Then from anger, what a beautiful term, smriti vibhrama. The Shastra uses the word smriti vibhrama. Smriti means the ability to recollect the right thing at the right time. When we are in a conversation, we say, the right words, somehow I'm getting the wrong words, I'm not getting the right words. When we are in certain contexts, we'll see that we naturally there are some situations where in some interactions, someday we get all the right words to use, the right expressions to use, so we have a great conversation. And another day, somehow, it doesn't flow. We don't get the right words, we don't feel like talking, or we don't remember what we need to remember. We say something stupid, right? So let us say we are going to one party, we are like a life of the party, we're able to have a great conversation. You go to another meeting or something, they're completely dumb and stupid and we don't know what to say. We say something totally meaningless or pointless. And then we're wondering, what happened to me? I guess my mind was not working. We say, no, it doesn't come. That is smriti. Smriti is ability to recollect the information relevant for a particular context that is invoked. How we invoke the relevant information from our, hard drive inside. How we invoke the relevant information depends upon how we are emotionally tuned to that situation in a given moment. And how tense we are, how conflicted we are or not conflicted we are. All this determines what kind of information we invoke from our subconscious to become available for using in a situation. Also, an attitude. You can invoke an attitude. When I see somebody that is coming, walking towards me, I think, who is that? And then I recognize a person who was very nice to me yesterday in the supermarket or somewhere where I had some small trouble, and this person was very nice to me and made everything smooth for me. So I said, then immediately I remember that whatever happened, and then I have a pleasant attitude towards that person. It is the same person, suppose had given me a hard time, I have a negative attitude towards that person. So this is smriti. So now, if I am completely overcome by anger, I will remember all the negative things associated with that person. So somebody, let us say my close relative, that person might have done a lot of nice things and a lot of terrible things also. In all relationships, there are good moments and bad moments, right? So when I think of that person, when I am overcome by anger, then all the negative things about that person comes to my mind. So that is Smriti with Brahma. So when Smriti is taken over, it's confused. That is, it does not know to connect what with what. So the person wants to try to mend the relationship and is doing something nice. Then immediately I tend to question the motive. It is like India, Pakistan. Even by a very rare chance, let us say, a Pakistani politician is making a nice gesture, a pleasant or a positive gesture. Genuinely, is making. Let us say, okay. So even even let us say by a remote chance, I'm saying. So this says how the attitude is already taken over. So because of experience, repeated experience, you don't expect that person to do anything positive. So when the person is doing something positive, you are immediately thinking ulterior motive. What is he trying to do? Is he gone mad, or is he having an ulterior motive? Is it a trap? You don't have trust issues, right? So this Smriti. So the Smriti is not is mapping things based on the psychological load, that is the emotional load that is driving it. So the emotional load is driving the Smriti in a certain direction. So because of Smriti with Brahma, Buddhinasha, in the sense, I am not available to see the current objective reality of the situation. I am not available to see the current objective reality of the situation. I'm not available. I'm only seeing through my subjective glass of past experience, which has taken over my smriti, and I'm getting all the wrong judgments. I'm making wrong judgments. Then when my buddhi is gone, I am not able to arrive or pursue the goal that I am supposed to pursue in that specific situation. In life, if we project it in a large extent, in a long term, if we project this, the person buddhinashat pranashyati, by the loss of buddhi, the individual is destroyed. For the individual is destroyed, what Bhashyakar Bhagavan says is that he becomes incapable of pursuing purushartha. Whatever purushartha, dharma purushartha, artha, kama, moksha, whatever it is, the destruction of a person here means the vijnana maya, the jiva, the individual, what we call as a soul, right? So the individual becomes incapable of pursuing a goal, steadily pursuing a purushartha. That is what is destruction of a person. The person is gone means what? The person is not available to pursue his goals, to pursue what is good for that person. The person is not able to commit for any line of action that is beneficial for the person. Is incapacitated to pursue a purushartha. That is destruction of a person. Right? Buddhinasha pranashyati. So, right? So this taking over of the buddhi. So the ability for me to exercise my faculty of choice itself is not there. It looks like I am choosing, but actually I am forced to choose by some external factor. Right? So this is one level. And there are now this is possible because of what we call as tamoguna. In different stages, in different levels, tamoguna takes over the system. That the basic avidya or the basic idea that I am an individual itself is the result of tamoguna. Because of that, only we feel as an individual. We are not, there is no realization, or I put it like this. There is experience of the world and this triad that, subject, object, this experience. This relativistic, dualistic experience itself is a result of tamas. So I'm not going into that mula vidya, that tamas. So here I'm talking about the tamas that disturbs the functional awareness, that disturbs the functioning of the buddhi. Given that I am an individual, the faculty of knowledge is not available for a given context. Only a force of samskara is able to, the knowledge part is cut. So there is no awareness or understanding. There is only programming. So the way my system is programmed to respond for a stimulus response. So it's something like if somewhere it is itching, we immediately do this, right? It's a stimulus response. So if you are in a meeting or something very formal context, it's itching, and you are very well trained, this civilized person, so you will not, you will not scratch like this, like in your room. You will probably, do like this or something, and you make it okay. Or you might excuse yourself and go to the bathroom and scratch nicely and come back. This civilized behavior is basically you have having a choice over your response. The stimulus is there, the inner response comes, but you have a choice over implementing. So you are developing a choice. So when a person is civilized, they are able to develop a choice over their karmendriyas, the organs of action, right? So the tamas level in animals, the level of tamas in animals is especially in the buddhi, where the buddhi is not available for self-reflection. You have a bhoga vastu, an object of enjoyment. So it is like a dog salivating. And if you leave a biscuit for a dog, it comes and takes the biscuit, right? So you show the biscuit, immediately it salivates. Then there is even that Pavlovian experiment. They will every time they will ring a bell, they will give food for the dog. Every time before giving food, they will ring a bell. So next time, after a few days of doing that, the moment you ring, the dog hears the bell, it will start salivating. It will associate bell with the biscuit with the gratification, right? So that is one. And then the stimulus comes, then it makes it go and serve. So if it, then you do these experiments with rats, you create a huge maze, and the rat has to go and reach the food through the maze. So the rat gets the smell, gets stimulated. It wants to find a way to reach the food. Then it passes the trail somehow, trial and error, it goes and reaches the food, right? Now, so this is the intelligence in the rat. So we also have that rat brain, what is called as limbic system, what is highly praised as IQ, intellectual quotient, problem solving. Now you give a lot, you are able to solve a lot of problems in a very short period. This is called intellectual quotients, and you are able to solve much complex problems in a given time or perform under pressure. There's so many kinds of tests for that. So many types of intelligence, they say, right? So all these is basically tamasic intellect, in the sense that it is a certain kind of sattva, but the sattva kicks in only for outside things, only for problem solving. That intelligence, that sattva is not awakened, it's not available for self-reflection, for analyzing oneself, analyzing one's own, what they call as metacognition, understanding my process of thinking, how I am thinking. So that is considered as a very, very superior kind of an intelligence. So it's a different kind of a sattva. So in yoga and in spiritual sadhana, what we say is we are trying to remove the tamoguna layer by layer. We are removing the tamas, right? So the more we remove the tamas, the more the choice increases. So this is so at the level of full tamas, maximum tamas, tamoguna, there is no choice. There is another extreme. The level of maximum sattva guna, also there is no choice, because you are so clear, you see the truth as it is. There is no choice, because you will automatically align with truth. You will automatically align with the most harmonious outcome, and because of that, there is no choice. Ridambara tatra prajna. There is a Yoga Sutra. It says, the mind of that pure yogi is in tune with the rhythm. The rhythm is the knowledge or the supreme truth in action. Satya is truth in speech, rhythm is truth in action. In the sense, the person, whatever the person does, is in harmony with the universal laws. The Ridambara tatra prajna. It's a highly sattvic mind. So when you are highly sattvic mind, there is no choice, because you are totally aligned with what is right and what is harmonious, what is appropriate and what is beneficial. So the outcome is naturally optimal. right? So that is Rutambra Tatra. And also another one, when you have a tremendous clarity in understanding towards the goal or towards the situation, when you have a very clear understanding, out of cultivated understanding, because of study, reflection, and all that, it's called Nischayatmika Buddhi, where you are very clear about what is to be done, what is not to be done, what is the right thing, what is not right thing. So you are very clear. So when you are very clear, there is no choice. Because you see, this is how it is. Like I tell you, 3 plus 2. Is there a choice? There is no choice. 3 plus 2 is 5. That's it. You know this. You cannot think anything else. No, the system won't allow. That is the power of knowledge. Because you are tuned to the truth of a situation, you have no choice. That is the maximum sattva. So in maximum sattva, there is no choice. In maximum tamas, there is no choice because you are completely taken over by samskara and circumstances. So in these two extremes. Now, the whole process of sadhana is in the in-between area. This is the spectrum. T, S, tamas, sattva. In this spectrum, there is rajas. So, how much I am closer to sattva, how much I am becoming free from tamas, tamoguna, will make my will be experienced as increasing levels of choice, the ability to make choice. It is because there is conflict. So the system tells me something, and I understand. As my understanding improves, I see what is relevant. I may see what is relevant, but I may feel like wanting something else. I may feel like wanting to do what is not relevant. So that is the whole concept of dharma, adharma conflict inside each person. So I know where we are in one end of the spectrum, we have the asuras who are very intelligent. They say that I know what is right, but I am not able to do that. I know what is wrong, but I am not able to desist myself from doing that. So the knowledge is clear, but at the action level, gone. So there is even worse level of tamas is where even knowledge itself is not there. That is animalistic. But the problem starts when the knowledge is there, but implementation is not there, is impossible. And then we have the devas. Devas also want, but somehow they are able to have more dhamma, dhamya in the sense they are able to have a choice over action. Okay, I want that, but I will get it following the rules. The desire is there, but I will. So Daiva Gunam and after Daivi Sampat, Asuri Sampat, they say. So Daivi Sampat means divine temperament. People with divine temperament want something, but they will pursue that without conflicting the knowledge. They will try to align as much as possible with the right knowledge of what is to be done, what is not to be done. They will respect the truth of the situation more than the personal preference. They will respect the reality and truth of a situation more than the personal preference. That is Daivi Sampat or divine temperament. Asuri Sampat, I don't know if I can translate it as demonic temperament in English because Asura means non-divine. Okay, non-divine temperament or a demonic would be Paisacha. So the Asuri, the Paisacha would be demonic. I don't know. There is no word for Asuri. I'm not able to. If anybody has the right word, please let me know. I will use it more. So I was thinking about it. Asura means Sura, Asura. Asura means not Sura. So divine, not divine. The Daivi, Asura. Asuri Sampat means the non-divine temperament. Loosely presented as demonic temperament is there is more importance given to personal preference over reality. What I want is more relevant for me, is more important for me, more valuable for me than what is true or what is real or what is harmonious or what is dharmic or how it is supposed to be. In a situation, this is the right thing to do, or this is the right outcome. This is the most harmonious. The all according to my best sense of ethical understanding. This is right, but I want something else. And what I want becomes more important than what is right. there the person tends to always choose personal preference over what is right. So that is Asuri Sampat. So that is where it is always presented in our Shastra, in our scriptures, as the person does things against the spirit of Shastra. That's how it is presented. Against the spirit of Shastra, I mean, Shastra is to be understood as knowledge. So whatever a person does, it does not respect knowledge, but gives more respect to personal feelings and emotions and personal preferences, likes, dislikes, ego, pleasure, etc. Now, if we look around, this is exactly what has taken over the whole spiritual, market. I would say spiritual market. So the spiritual market, this $1 billion moksha feel good industry, what we call it, be it in yoga, tantra, ayurveda, wherever we go, any shastra, any domain of knowledge is completely now taken over by the domination of personal preference over what is correct or what is aligned with the truth of a situation. The personal preference is always given more importance everywhere. So it is all about, there is a discussion, nobody is interested in truth. Everybody is focused on making sure nobody is hurt, making sure, whatever is told is agreeable, whether it is correct or not. See, what is correct has to be told in an agreeable manner. That is another story. So that is completely different thing from telling only what is agreeable, whether it is true or not. I don't care about what is true. I will care only about what is pleasing. That is not what is said. Now, when we say Satyam Bruyat, speak the truth. Hitam Briyat, Priyam Bruyat, speak the truth in a pleasant manner, speak the useful truth. Now, Bruyat, Satyam Apriyam, don't tell the truth that is not palatable. Anrutam kadabina bruya. Do not say what is not true. That is also there. Right? So maybe you can withhold information. You don't have to say, but that doesn't mean I will tell what is not true. Or I will reorient my entire thinking to what is pleasing and completely ignore. So what happens over a period of time, we totally lose touch with what is real. So all this is there. Right? So Asuri Sampat, Daivi Sampat. So this is the choice. So a person becomes more and more of divine temperament, where through the process of conscious, intelligent action, one develops the ability or intelligent action that is based on commitment to reality. Intelligent, conscious action that is based on commitment to reality, total commitment to reality. Based on that, when a person performs action, one has to cultivate detachment to the outcome. Because when the outcome becomes more important than the process, when the result becomes more important than the action, it does not take much time to compromise the way, the means and the ends, they say, right? So it will not take much time to compromise the means if the ends become more important. So the means have to be righteous. The means is everything. So the means, the way in which I arrive at the result cannot be compromised. It has to be aligned with dharma. The dharma of the action cannot be compromised. It doesn't matter if I don't get the result, but I'm going to try to get the result, become smarter and smarter in following dharma to get the result. So that is an art. That's just, so I have to be smart. I cannot be a dumb. Only a dumb person will always look for getting it by hook or crook. Getting it by hook or crook is a sign of lack of intelligence. So when we become finer and finer intelligent, we want the result, we respect the result, we value a result, we want that. There's nothing wrong in that. But I will not get it by hook or crook. I will get it only in the right. I will follow only the right means. I will follow the dharma, and I have enough patience to get the result. And I will constantly improve my method to make sure, and my intelligence and my awareness and my matrix of information. I will keep on improving on it so that I will get what I want in a dharmic way. I will equip myself dharmically, equip myself intelligently, equip myself to achieve my goals dharmically. So that leads self-development. So when that leads self-development, what happens? It gives you a kind of equanimity towards the result. Always I am focusing on the means and not on the ends. I am focusing on the means more than the ends. I become more and more equanimous towards the end. And slowly we get a kind of what we call as samatvam, the equanimity, which is the yoga. Samatvam yoga uchyate. So the yogic attitude starts developing. And then we bring in the concept of Ishvara. Then we come and bring in the concept of Ishvara. We try to understand that it is there are factors that are outside our hand. We understand the role of divine grace, and then the whole karma yoga comes there, right? Right. So in this way, the choice becomes more and more and more and more and more. And as I am able to exercise my choice at a deeper and deeper level, and more aligned with Dharma, I become more and more sattvic. The more equanimous I am, the less result oriented and more process oriented I am. Over time, my sattva increases. My sattva percolates into different dimensions of my functioning. So all my different layers of functioning, my mind, my emotions, my thinking, my faculty of analysis, my habits, my lifestyle, everything gets infused with sattva. As the sattva increases, my ability to make the right choice becomes more and more effortless. And then when the sattva reaches a certain point, I am naturally right. Where again, I don't have any choice because I clearly see there is no conflict. I am right choicelessly. I am choicelessly right in the sense I am doing what is right, and I am aligned with Dharma effortlessly. So that is the Ridambara or the Mahayogi or the Siddha Purusha, right? So this is the spectrum. So this is the progress of sadhana. Now, there is in this realm of choice, there is a very important statement by a great Mahatma, Bhagavan Ramana Maharishi. He said, the moment the person is born, all that the body and the mind has to go through are already decided. You have no choice. And then he says, the only choice you have is to either remain attached or detached. This is all the choice you have, to participate or not participate. This is the only choice you have. In fact, we don't even have the choice. We have to develop the choice, right? He says that this is the only choice you have. What you have to go through, you will go through. Now, this is a very tricky statement, has to be understood. It does not mean fatalism. It doesn't mean that you don't pursue your goals or you don't have any purushartha. First, it is discussed in the context of self-realization and moksha purushartha. This statement is to be seen in the context of a person whose purushartha is moksha. So, if my purushartha is moksha, then I take this teaching in a certain way. If my purushartha is not moksha, then how do I take this teaching? In the sense, for the sake of peace. So let us say is that, in any given situation, I am pushed into a certain line of action. My faculty of choice, see, I told you the faculty of choice in the whole spectrum of tamas to sattva, right? So, see, Bhagavan Ramana is telling from the point of view of full sattva, but if you understand it as a person who is always driven by choices, he says you have the only choice to not participate, right? So if you're not participating here means vairagya, right? So vairagya and understanding this and constantly remembering this and seeing oneself, the importance of becoming free as much more than everything else, that is viveka and vairagya. So when we are invoking vairagya, we are clearing the tamas. So what is tamas? When there is no vairagya, raga, dvesha, I want, when I'm making, when I'm participating in a situation, it is because I am desiring a certain experience, a pleasure, pursuit of pleasure or avoiding of pain. This is what it is. So the pleasure principle, why, when Bhagavan says that, there is no choice, the only choice you have is to detach or attach. When he says that, it means I can So what is driving my choice is the pleasure principle. So I can give up my pursuit of pleasure. I refuse to be driven by desire and I don't participate. Then what happens? Slowly the sattva increases, the tamas is not asserting anymore. So the sattva increases and the reality of the situation starts becoming brighter. And slowly I am driven towards what is choiceless. So automatically the mind is aligned with dharma. Automatically the body and the mind is responding to the situation according to the best possibility because I am not bringing in my personal desire to experience a certain outcome. Right? So we have to see in that angle as detachment, increasing sattva, and reducing the struggle and not clouding the intellect, allowing the body, allowing the intellect and the faculties to respond to a situation in the best possible way, taking into account all the individual limitations as a person. The best possible response to a given situation can come if I am totally detached, if I am not driven by the outcome. That's what we see in the realm of people who are in the realm of choice, right? So again, when I am totally detached, the best outcome is choiceless. So that's why we have to see that. So I just wanted to discuss that because that is a very confusing teaching that most people don't understand it. It leads to fatalism and just people become too passive. So that confusion should not come. So for that sake, I wanted to include that in this discussion in this context. Right now, for this process, this realm of choice, ability to exercise my choice, ability to free my faculty of choice at the action level, at the intention level, at the conception level, that is at the level where in which I create my concepts and choose and decide at that level how to, and at the level of being carried away, at the level of attention, at the level where my attention is carried away, in the sense I am forced to involve in certain situations. I feel a compulsion, right? That sense of compulsion to be involved in a certain situation. That it pulls me, I could not resist, we say, right? So in all these levels, to be able to exercise my choice, one of the best practices is japa. Mantra japa, the main goal of mantra japa is developing this ability to choose. Usually a thought comes and I am carried away by the thought. So japa begins where I decide to, I choose what thought I am associated with. In a deeper and deeper level, as the practice matures, I am able to choose my association with a certain train of thought. First, I decide at the level of action, I am repeating. So there are 4 levels of japa. They say Vaikari, like this, Rama, 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 Rama. This is Vaikari. Then there is Upamshu. You don't see the sound, but it's like a whisper. Then there is Madhyama. There is verbalized thought. I am verbally repeating, but the sound doesn't come out. Upamshu is between Madhyama and Vaikari. It's like a whisper, right? So I may not, but I'm moving the mouth and tongue and everything. This is Upamshu, right? And Madhyama is I don't move my organs of speech. Before I move my mouth, before I say Rama, I am only verbalized thought I am repeating at the level of intention. It's like self-talk, right? We do self-talk. Like that. At the mental level, I am repeating the verbalized thought, the word. It is Madhyama. So before I repeat the word, I am able to see the word in my mind, right? So before I verbalize that Rama, before I verbalize that, I see that. Only then I verbalize. I recognize the word and then I verbalize. Correct? So at the level of recognizing the word, recognize. That is Pashyanti, right? Pashyanti means to see. So I recognize the level where I recognize the mantra, but the verbalizing is not there. That's seeing the mantra, it's called, right? So when at that level, when the focus improves, then what happens? The very force that acts as the mind, the very force that acts as the mind, that becomes the mantra. That takes the form of a mantra. The mind becomes the mantra, or the prana becomes the mantra. That is para, right? So Vaikari, Madhyama, Pashyanti, para. So between Vaikari and Madhyama, that is Upamshu, which is also a subtle Vaikari, we can say. So Vaikari means loud, Ram, 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 that is loud. Then subtle Vaikari is Upamshu, whisper without noise. Madhyama, verbalized thought. Pashyanti, recognizing the mantra. Para, there is no, it's effortless, complete alignment with the pattern of the mantra. That is para. So this is the 4 levels of japa. So what happens is, as we go from one level to the subtler and subtler level, the ability to exercise my choice is tuned to a deeper and deeper level of functioning. It is actually very fast. Right? So as the awareness goes subtler level, the repetition of mantra is like, the alignment with the speed of the mind, and then the clock. The mind is like a clock wave in a computer, like that. So that the mind clock becomes slower. The waves of the mind slow down. And you can even study that when a person goes to deeper levels of japa, the brain wave will change. The brain wave pattern, if they put some EEG and all that, they have even studied that. The EEG becomes, what they call as brainwave coherence. It creates a very high level of brain, all the lobes of the brain work together. So that is called brainwave coherence. The conflict in the mind becomes less. The entire mind starts working in one direction. And there is no, like for example, if I am doing they show in the movies, right? There's always this old mother-in-law or somebody who is always doing japa. They keep looking at everybody. The mala is going on in the hand. She will comment about cooking, and then she will show her facial reactions to different things. All this we see in TV serials and all that. There's always this old lady who is doing that, right? In many serials it comes. So there is japa going on, but background is going everywhere. The mind is remembering the song that I heard yesterday, and then there is a list of all the things I'm supposed to do after the japa session is over. Then if you are if you have to cook something, then you are visualizing your cooking, or you are visualizing, or something that affected you yesterday comes in the memory. All kinds of things come, and only when you want to do your japa, the Excel spreadsheet will come. What are the things I missed doing? What I forgot doing? Right. So, so this is conflict. So as the brainwave coherence means, all these faculties of the mind that pop up all kinds of information that is not relevant to the task, they leave all that and align with the task of japa. That's called brainwave coherence. And the rush reduces. As the rush reduces, the brainwaves become slower, and it becomes like so many cycles per minute, they say, per second, so many cycles per second. The frequency, brainwave frequency, it's called. So that becomes, it can be studied, it can be physically studied. As the japa gets better, the frequency of the mind becomes slower and slower and more aligned and coherent. Right? So this is called, how does it happen? As we are able to exercise the ability, as we are able to restrain ourselves from being carried away by suggestions, and we are stick to the commitment. The commitment to the mantra, we are able to take it to deeper and deeper levels of attention. So that is the process of japa. This process of japa gives us the ability to exercise our faculty of choice. That is the main use of japa. And using that skill that we have developed, that skill of attention and ability to exercise our choice at a deeper level, the skill of keeping our center and not getting carried away, that ability that we get in japa is useful for making the right choices in life and for pursuing our purushartha. It saves your soul. Japa saves your soul. How? Saving the soul here means the soul is the individual. The individual is being saved means the individual is protected from being carried away. Machvat mananat trayate iti mantra. The mantra takes you across this ocean of samsara where I am not able to exercise my choice, where I am getting carried away, pushed and pulled by all kinds of things, and I am gaining my center more and more and more. And if I am able to stay committed at a deeper and deeper and deeper level, I become higher and higher. The level of sattva becomes higher and higher, and the layers and layers of tamas, tamoguna gets removed, and the mind becomes clear, and the intellect becomes clear. My ability to perceive the reality of the situation becomes more. Why I am not pursuing, why I am not perceiving the reality is because I am clouded by likes and dislikes, because I am clouded by all kinds of programming, things that carry away on my faculty of discretion. So all that is gone, and my faculty of discretion and discrimination and viveka starts shining. And then, as I am gaining my center and not swayed by different currents, and I am able to sustain my center at a deeper and deeper level, I am saving myself from being carried away. I am totally available to pursue my purushartha. So, thus, I am saving myself. The mantra saves me. So, the process of japa, this is the purpose of japa. So, the purpose, so keeping this purpose of japa in mind, it is important to note that how many repetitions of japa you are doing and then going on an ego trip based on that. I remember I was once, I still can't forget that guy in one Sri Vidya conference. He said, "Oh, it's a great upasaka." They introduced me. So he said, "I have done one." He said, "He was very, I've done 1 crore japa of Shorasi." So he's completely carried away by that, and he's only so the whole focus at the. I was thinking, what great upasaka, this guy is so restless, and there is no prana, there is no tejas, nothing is there. What upasaka I was thinking. Then it's so the whole approach is only to finish the number of repetitions. Why they are telling to finish the number of repetitions is because they are giving you a context of commitment. Unless I have a context of commitment and a boundary, I am not going to put till I'm so within while I am working. See, I am given a big context. Okay, 1 lakh repetitions of the mantra is not easy, right? 1 lakh repetitions. So I am committed to the context of japa for a prolonged period of time. That is good enough for me to develop my center. So that is the whole point. So mantra siddhi does not mean I do 1 lakh and I've got mantra siddhi. It's like somebody up in heaven, having a note. Oh, this guy did his mantra 1 crore times, so his mantra siddhi granted. And then somebody comes and gives me some siddhi. No. And the purpose of japa is not some adrishta palam. From the point of view of yoga and Vedanta, and the point of view we are discussing, where the process of japa to save the person and make the person available to pursue a purushartha, which is called chitta shuddhi. In other words, from the point of view of chitta shuddhi, we are not looking at how much mantra is in your bank account, which will be making sure that you get a good accommodation in heaven after you die. So that is not what we are talking about here. Oh yeah, he has done 2 lakhs of Ganapati mantra, 1 crore of Ramanama, so many avartis of Narayana Japa. Okay, so you get a 3-bedroom apartment with a private swimming pool in Vaikunta. No, it's not like that. So here we are talking about how much we are able to gain inner freedom, choice, chitta shuddhi. That is the the whole purpose of japa. So with this purpose in mind, we have to do japa, and all this counting business is only meant for telling us to stay committed for a certain period of time. So it need not be just counting. It need not be like 1008 repetition. It can also be just 1 hour, 2 hours. That is also a context of commitment. So when we doing japa, we have to be committed to the quality of the japa, not the quantity of the japa. Right? So we are committed to the quality of the japa for a designated period of time for which we have made the sankalpa. For so many 108 repetitions, I will sustain this quality. I will be committed to this quality of chanting until I finish 108 repetitions. I will be connected to this quality of chanting. I will be committed to this quality of chanting and improve my quality and the japa process for the period of 1 muhurta, 2 muhurtas, 25 minutes, half an hour, 1 hour, etc. So that is how that is the relevance of this, avarti. How many avarti you do? This is the relevance. The relevance is not some, after death, you will get some this punya. So we have to get rid of this kind of thinking. We have to get more and more committed to chitta shuddhi as a perceivable, tangible result that we can experience in our everyday life. And only then our spiritual sadhana will be more meaningful, because we will be seeing its impact in every domain of our life. Yeah. So thus we have discussed the concept of japa and its relevance in the context of our growth process, from the journey of growth from maximum tamas to maximum sattva. Right. So with this, I will conclude the session, and maybe I'll give 5 minutes for any questions, and then we can close the class. Om Purnamata Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat. Yeah. Any questions regarding today's topic only? So while listening, you might have some question might have popped. So when that thing happens, you make a note, and then you can ask in the end of the class. So like that happens.
Namaste.
Let me wear my headphones. The speaker is not good.
Okay.
I want to change my laptop, but I'm so put off by this electronic waste. I don't know what happens to all this. So I want to use this fellow a little more. Yeah. Right.
Namaste.
Namaste.
So the question is, as you were saying, like what is to be done, and what we do just because you were saying about the truth, saying the truth, but saying the truth in the nicest of the
I
kind.
told it as an example. Yeah, that is not the topic of the day, but yeah, proceed.
Yes, but okay. So in that sense, like how to change that habit of like always speaking nice, but then speaking nice covers the truth itself. Just focusing the speak.
It's a value. We have to develop a value for truth. Otherwise, it's not going to change.
About or start believing that is truth, which to be with kindness, and trying to be kind, and then missing the truth, or like manipulating, or like polishing so much, the truth won't be the same. So, with that habit, for a normal person to become aware and then to change, is there any kind of like to focus on the present, how to bring it in daily life?
A normal person cannot bring, because the normal person is driven only by survival. So only a sadhaka can do this. If the person is a sadhaka, then we can tell that we have to discuss satsanga. So in satsanga, the person can be slowly develop, discussions about this with one's teacher, or and reflection, self-reflection, etc. And conflict. The person can be encouraged to become not shut oneself down, but become more conscious of the inner conflict it generates. For example, I heard that one of the most stressful occupation is being a receptionist in a 5-star hotel, or being an air hostess. Very stressful, simply because they have to smile when they don't want to. So it doesn't make things better. Smiling for everything doesn't make things better. It creates a huge amount of conflict. So if the person can be probably encouraged to, to become conscious of the conflict and talk about it and embrace the conflict, and simultaneously given the value and the hope for living without conflict. It is possible to live without conflict. You don't have to be a people pleaser. So there are advantages in not being a people pleaser and living up to what you truly believe in, what you truly understand as true, as right. If that hope is there and some support is there, combined with this self-reflection on how much stress it is creating for themselves, which is called Pratipaksha Bhavana. That's what I'm discussing here. So when we do that, probably the person will slowly able to take the other side. And then be more committed to telling what is right and what is meaningful in a nice way than being committed only to telling what is nice, whether it is true or not. So it's a gradual change, because this is one of the main problems of the civilized world. So we cannot solve it overnight. It requires a lot of support system and help. They will require some external help, because people who are used to this are, they're doing it out of fear and helplessness, and because of the social pressure, survival. Even the basic things are so difficult these days, So with some support, I think yes, they can. But support and encouragement and constant satsanga, company with those who are committed to what is right than what is simply pleasing. With that, yes, it is possible.
Thank you. That's all for now, for me.
Okay, I think we are overshooting our time. So we'll finish the session. Please recommend this to your friends and whoever watches. If they have some questions, they can leave in the comments in the YouTube, and I will answer them or carry over to the next session. Okay, thank you.